there are many, say, non-heroes in this story. We'll get to the role of President Trump in a minute. But as I read the book, the head of the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, Robert Redfield, uh, does not come across well. And a worry that I had, Larry, reading the book was that I was reading the story of the decline of what had been a great institution of public health, the CDC. Talk a little bit about Dr. Redfield and about what happened to the CDC and what might have been different if better public health measures had been adopted, embraced by him and the CDC early.
When I was a young reporter, David, I did several stories out of the CDC, and I was so impressed. The people that worked there were brilliant. They were courageous. They go off to these hot spots that I wouldn't want to get near. They were humble. I thought of them as being noble in a way, and they regarded the institution they worked for as somehow sacred. And it seemed to me, the archetype of proper government, brilliant agency. And it's heartbreaking to see how that wonderful institution has cratered in the face of this pandemic. No doubt this has been going on for years, a weakening of the institution, but under the Trump administration, the appointment of Dr. Redfield was, I think, a leadership mistake. He was not a strong leader. And he didn't push back against the attacks on the CDC from the administration. Much could have been different had the CDC been listened to. But unfortunately, the institution was downgraded and disregarded. And I think a lot of the suspicion of public health that we are seeing now has to do with the stumbles that the CDC made, especially with the test. That was a fiasco, and it's going to be a long time before they live that down.
And what's your feeling, Larry, about Dr. Rachel Walensky, who's now the head of the CDC? Is she putting the place back together from what you can see and hear, or are we still going to have to struggle with the CDC that's just not up to par for a while?
I don't think she can wave her wand and make it work instantly, David. It's going to take years, I think, to rebuild that institution and regain the confidence and do the kind of recruiting of top scientists that's needed, and also to regain the respect of people in not only in the public health field but ordinary Americans.